Two Boeing 747s. Same runway, same fog, same 7 minutes. By the time it was over, 583 people were dead, and it happened on the ground, not in the air. This is the story of the worst days in aviation history. Not just crashes, catastrophes that rewrote the rulebook, grounded entire fleets, and changed the way you board a plane today. Stick around, because disaster number 1 on this list didn't even involve a mechanical failure. It involved 2 words, spoken in the wrong order, at the worst possible moment. The 27th of March, 1977. Tenerife, Canary Islands. Thick fog rolling across a runway that was never built to hold 2 jumbo jets at once. A bomb threat at a nearby airport had rerouted dozens of flights here, including a KLM 747 and a Pan Am 747, both packed, both waiting on a single runway with 0 visibility. The KLM captain, one of the most senior pilots in the airline, a man who literally appeared in KLM's own safety ads, began his takeoff roll. Except air traffic control hadn't cleared him. Not fully. Somewhere in the fog ahead, invisible, the Pan Am jet was still taxiing across that same runway. Seconds mattered here. In the cockpit, the flight engineer even asked, "Is he clear?" The response was rushed, ambiguous. And the captain, eager to beat a closing weather window, pushed the throttles forward anyway. Through the fog, the Pan Am crew saw KLM's landing lights coming straight at them, too late to fully clear the runway. The collision killed 583 people. It remains, to this day, the deadliest accident in aviation history, and neither plane was even in the air when it happened. Here's the twist. This crash didn't happen because of bad technology. It happened because of communication, vague phrasing, assumptions, and a cockpit hierarchy where junior crew were too intimidated to challenge a senior captain. That one detail changed aviation forever. It's the reason crew resource management exists today, the protocol that trains every co-pilot in the world to speak up, no matter who's in the captain's seat. But Tenerife wasn't a story about a plane failing. The next disaster on this list? That's a plane that was doomed before it ever left the factory. The 12th of August 1985, Japan Airlines Flight 123, a domestic hop from Tokyo to Osaka, 524 people on board, most of them heading home for a holiday weekend. 7 years earlier, this exact aircraft had a hard landing. The repair crew patched the damaged rear pressure bulkhead, but they did it wrong. A single row of rivets instead of the required 2. For 7 years, that repair held barely. Then, 12 minutes after takeoff, the bulkhead gave way explosively. The tail's vertical stabilizer was ripped almost completely off, and with it, all 4 hydraulic systems. On a modern jet, that's not supposed to be possible. Hydraulics are quadruple redundant, specifically so this never happens. It happened anyway. For the next 32 minutes, the pilots fought a plane with no steering, no elevators, no way to control pitch or roll, using only engine thrust to try to nudge it toward an airport. Passengers wrote goodbye notes. The crew never stopped trying. The aircraft eventually struck a mountain ridge. Of 524 on board, 4 survived. It's still the deadliest single aircraft accident in history, and it came down to 1 repair crew, 1 wrong decision 7 years earlier. If Tenerife was about communication and JAL 123 was about maintenance, the next one on this list is about something even scarier. A design flaw that airlines and regulators knew about and let fly anyway. October 2018. Lion Air Flight 610 plunges into the Java Sea 13 minutes after takeoff, 189 dead. 5 months later, March 2019, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302, same aircraft type, same failure pattern, 157 dead. 2 brand new 737 MAX jets, 2 crews fighting the exact same invisible enemy, a flight control system called MCAS that most pilots didn't even know existed. MCAS was designed to quietly push the plane's nose down if a single sensor thought the aircraft was climbing too steeply. One sensor, no backup cross-check required. When that sensor failed, MCAS activated again and again and again, fighting the pilots for control of the aircraft even as they tried to pull up. Investigations later revealed the manufacturer knew about aspects of this risk before the first crash and didn't ground the fleet. After the second crash, the entire global 737 MAX fleet was grounded for nearly 2 years. It remains one of the biggest reputational disasters in aviation manufacturing history. 2 crashes, 346 lives, 1 line of code most passengers had never heard of. Every disaster so far involved human error or mechanical failure or a flawed design. But the next one? Nobody could control it. Nobody could have stopped it. It came from the sky itself. The 1st of June 2009, Air France Flight 447, Rio de Janeiro to Paris. Somewhere over the Atlantic, at 35,000 feet, in the middle of the night, the plane flew into a violent tropical storm system. Ice crystals clogged the aircraft's speed sensors. For less than a minute, the autopilot lost reliable airspeed data and did exactly what it was designed to do. It handed control back to the pilots. What followed was chaos in the dark, conflicting alarms, confusing instrument readings. A junior co-pilot pulled back on the controls, pitching the nose up, when the correct response was the opposite. The plane entered an aerodynamic stall. For nearly 4 minutes, it fell nose high, engines still running, wings no longer generating lift, dropping over 30,000 feet into the ocean, with the crew never fully understanding what was happening. All 228 on board were lost. It took nearly 2 years and a deep-sea search of the ocean floor to even recover the flight data recorders and understand what went wrong. This crash forced a hard question the industry still wrestles with. When pilots rely on automation for years, do they lose the raw instinct to fly a plane manually in the 4 minutes it actually matters? Every crash so far, at least, left evidence. Wreckage, data recorders, answers. Eventually, the final disaster on this list didn't even give investigators that. The 8th of March 2014, Malaysian Airlines Flight 370, Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, 239 people on board. 38 minutes into the flight, the transponder goes silent. Then radar contact. Then everything. The aircraft's own satellite communication system kept handshaking with a satellite for hours afterward, the only reason investigators believe it flew for nearly 7 more hours, far off its intended path, deep into the southern Indian Ocean. No mayday call, no wreckage found for years, no confirmed reason why. Search teams combed an area of ocean floor larger than some countries. A handful of debris pieces eventually washed ashore, thousands of miles away, but the aircraft itself and the answer to what actually happened in that cockpit has never been fully recovered. It remains the largest unsolved mystery in modern aviation. Not the deadliest, not the most catastrophic in terms of design failure, but the one question mark the entire industry still can't close. 5 disasters. 5 completely different causes: a fog-covered runway, a bad rivet job, a rogue line of code, a 4-minute stall in a storm, and a mystery that's still unsolved. But here's the thing that connects every single one of them. After each disaster, the rules changed. Cockpit communication protocols, maintenance inspection standards, software certification requirements, pilot training on manual flight control. Every one of these tragedies is the reason flying today is, statistically, one of the safest ways to travel on Earth. If you found this deep dive as unsettling as it is fascinating, subscribe, because next time, we're going even deeper into the black box.